Welcome. Uh, Thanks for coming. If you are new to my channel, I'm really happy that you're here. And what I am hoping to cover is everything having to do with life and wellness, and I look at the good things and the bad things and everything basically about living a full and healthy life. And sometimes that involves talking about some of the unpleasant things. And so today's topic is called Let's Talk About Death. Now, I know that's not a very fun subject. And if the first video that you saw of mine was the Life Sucks video, you're probably thinking, boy, she's just a ray of sunshine, right? But I will be talking about some of the difficult things and some of the good things, and just about things dealing with life, and death is part of life. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to dive right into that now. So death is not a pleasant topic, of course. Many of us avoid discussing it, and it's almost like it's a taboo subject. And a lot of people, they just avoid it. And then it makes it feel like there's something wrong, when somebody wants to talk about it. And that just is not healthy. Personally, I believe that wellness itself encompasses death, and death is just a natural process in life. Everything and everyone, it's going to happen to us all. You can try to postpone it, and a lot of people do postpone it but eventually it does happen. Eventually, every one of us will die. And we can accept it for what it is, and just live the richest life that we can live, the fullest and richest life that we can live. Or we can, like, always have that in the back of our mind, thinking, well, someday, we're going to die. When is going to happen? We don't want to avoid living, just to prevent dying. The death of my dear 17-year-old dog is still fresh in my mind. And that was just a couple of weeks ago, and I feel like I'm still grieving that. It's hard, but to have those memories of my dog and those really happy things, that is better. Even though I have to go through this sad time, this really bad time, that's better than not having had Cece at all in my life. Okay, as I speak right now, my father-in-law, he just passed away yesterday, literally yesterday. He was 92, and the family was all around him, and he fought it. He fought it for a couple of days. The family was all, they were there. Everybody was, like, supporting him and everything. And he was just like, no freaking way am I going to die. He was just defiant. He was just, no, I am not going to do this. And eventually, yes, like at 4 p.m. yesterday, he passed away. And of course, the family is grieving now. And even though he lived a full, happy life, but the end, he wasn't very healthy, and he had been going downhill for a while. And that happens, and we have to accept that is part of life, and grieving is part of life too. Recently, one of my friends had talked about getting together at Christmas time. It's going to be a quiet Christmas with her and her mom and her brother. Now, her mom, because she's about my age, and her mom is in her 80s or late 80s. And her mom's been trying to talk to her about, her wishes over the time that, like when she dies, this is what I want. This is how I want my funeral to be. And my friend was just like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And she was telling me that. It's like, no, I keep trying to push her away from that because I don't want to talk about that. And I just kind of suggested maybe you should let her talk. You don't know when she won't be able to, and you won't know what all her wishes are. And if she wants to talk about it, she should be allowed to talk about it. And then at the end of the conversation, she was thinking like, yeah, I'm glad I had this conversation with you. And she said, it shouldn't be about me, right? It should be about her. This is about me, and my feelings, my pain, but this is about her. And that's one of the things that's really important for people who are dying. What is it that they want? You might want them. You might want, grandma in the care home to stay there forever. But if she says like, look, I don't want to live anymore because my life is gone, then discuss what the options are. You don't want to keep her there, just keeping a memory alive. And that's about what all of that would be at that time. And I've got another story. A friend of mine who's also passed on, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this story. When her dad died, now this was probably, I think, about 20 years ago, he was getting sick and she knew that he was going to die. And she somehow got all of the family together. Like, she was the only one who got to see him. He was in a home as well. He was quite mobile and everything, but she's the only one who went to see him out of the four kids. She had four brothers who just basically ignored him, but she always went to see him, always made sure he was okay, always had clean clothes. Oh, you need somebody to do your towels for your dad. So yeah, she took good care of him. And when she knew he was dying, like, she got everybody together, got her brother to come up from Alberta. They were in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. And so he came up and the whole family, and her mom and dad had been divorced. They hadn't talked to each other in decades, like literally decades at that time. And she goes to her mom, she goes, you should go and say goodbye to dad. And she goes, you were married to him at one point, so he must have meant something to you. And she did convince her mom to go and talk to him and have a really nice talk. And the grandkids and the kids and everybody went in to see him. Everybody, the people that were important to him, like his ex-wife and his other ex-wife. I don't know how my friend got that all happened, and it was just amazing. And she was holding his hand when he left. And yeah, it was like, how much better can it be? It's never going to get any better than that. That is the best sending off, because it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen to everybody. And if it wasn't for her, he would have just died in that home, a lonely old man. And she said, I wouldn't let that happen. So what I want to talk about from that is, after she told me that, it's like, wow, it really doesn't, you can't say, if I die, because there is no if. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody. Everybody is going to die. We have to face that fact. And it's not even a question of when, because when that time comes, that time is now. It doesn't matter if it's 2023. It doesn't matter if it's 2050. It doesn't matter if it's 2100. Are you going to care what year it is and what day it is and how old you are? You're not going to care about that. You're going to be caring that this is my last minute. This is my last breath, and that is it. And you're going to be, looking at what you have done in your life. And wouldn't you want to have that send off, that really wonderful send off? Uh, it's all a matter of how. So, it's not if it happens, because it's going to happen. It's not when it's going to happen, because you ain't going to care when it does happen. It is how. It's all about how. How are those last minutes? How are those last days? Do you want to be looking into the eyes of your children and knowing, hey, I did something right in my life? Do you want to be thinking about your life and thinking, wow, like I did some really good things. And we all can say that we've done some bad things in our lives, but all of those things, even the bad things, mean something. But the people around you, you want to, like, hey, I mattered in this life. Like there must have been something for people to be around, and people, like say, giving you the well wishes, and sending you off. And that's what matters when it comes to death. And it doesn't matter what your faiths or beliefs are, but be true to them. Be true to them until the end. And then you'll have that feeling. It's like, yes, I was true to myself. I was true to the faith. Maybe you grew up in a different religion. Maybe you grew up Muslim or Catholic or wherever. You don't really feel an affiliation to that. But be true to the real faith, the things that you really believe in. And for those people who are left behind, take the time to grieve. Please do that, because you don't want to hold that in. That's going to be very toxic to you later on. But just remember that it is going to happen to all of us, and I strongly suggest to everyone to begin, opening up those conversations. It shouldn't be the taboo subject that it is. Yes, it might not be such a pleasant thing to think of our own mortality, but for people my age, as we get older and our bodies start to wear out, then this becomes more and more of a real thing. And you realize that you're not going to be alive forever. And if you haven't come to terms with that, it's going to eat you alive. One of the things that has really impacted me, and kind of inspired me to make this video, besides the fact that my dog and my father-in-law, and actually my aunt and my husband's aunt, have all passed away recently, is the pandemic. During the pandemic, I realized just how afraid people were. The fear that it ended up being very, very toxic, because I felt that people were not living their lives because they were afraid of dying, or trying to persuade, like their elderly relatives to stay inside, for years, until you die of loneliness. You might not die of COVID, but how would you like to go? And this is part of that conversation to have with elderly or dying relatives and friends. Ask them what they want. Do you want to be living a full life right now? Or do you want to play it safe and stay away from people who might be sick? Or do you want to go to your checker games and your card games with your friends? And if they want to take those risks, then it's up to them, because not being able to live your life is going to kill you, and that's a sad thing. That's a really sad thing. Okay, so that's the end of that. I don't want to go too much more into that. I will be talking about happier things, but this is something that's just on my mind. It's fresh in my mind right now. And so thank you for watching, and let me know what you think. If you've watched a few of my videos, just let me know what you think, because I'm just starting this. I'm open to constructive criticism, and because I want to build this, in a way, that don't be afraid to make some suggestions, because I'm not gonna to know unless you do. So yeah, and if you enjoy them, then that's great. Yeah, thank you.